And good morning. Holy moly. Welcome to Breakthrough Walls. And we just had a massive breakthrough, just trying to have a breakthrough. So I'm actually really excited to have the guest on today that I have. He's become a new, we're Facebook friends now for a minute, but I think we're like friends now. This guy is absolutely unbelievable, hilarious. In fact, I just saw that he commented on my post and said we'll be on at 11-ish, which is an accurate statement. So I want to welcome my buddy Frank Crinite to the show. Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon, Ken. How you doing, pal? How is everything?
Good afternoon, right. Dude. My
Breakfast,
computer
lunch,
didn't want to.
It's all the same, man.
It didn't want to cooperate.
But you know what the good news is? We got through it, and we're on. Right? We didn't let that stand in our way.
That's right.
We're
man.
here.
That's
we're live.
Right.
We're ready to go.
Dude,
Absolutely.
we have Bill Have is in the audience.
That's my buddy, Bill. What's going on, brother?
Bill's awesome, man. So this show, I told you it's, I created this show to help people. It's my way of giving back, man. It's to help people have a breakthrough in life. And because a lot of people hit these walls and they get stuck, man. And I think we learn from other people's stories. So I'm excited to have you on here, man. So why don't we start with telling everybody where you were born and raised?
I was born and raised in the county that I work in every day. So Delaware County, right outside of Philadelphia. Get to celebrate the 4 seasons here: winter, summer, spring, fall. It's phenomenal. So no other place I'd rather be than right here, right now is the way that I like to put it. So
that's awesome.
It's good. Yeah.
I've never been to Philly, dude.
You'll be in Atlantic City. You'll be in Atlantic City in a few months, so you'll be pretty close. Maybe you stop by.
Yeah.
We'll get the proverbial cheesesteak that everybody wants to have when they get here.
Yeah, I got it. I love that, actually.
Yeah.
So you were born and raised over there. You went to school. Did you end up going to college?
I did a little bit of college. Delaware County Community. It was more of a social event for me than it was, going. So I told myself I wanted to be an accountant until I figured out what actually being an accountant meant. Sitting there playing with, numbers and charts and graphs and input and stuff. And I'm like, probably not going to fit what I want to do in life anyway. So quickly took a different route.
Right. So what was that different route? Is that when you got into selling cars?
No, actually, after that, I went to started doing a company called NRG, which was a marketing firm for Green Mountain Energy, which was all the electric companies deregulated. So they worked off a thing that Vector Knives. I don't know if you ever heard of Vector Knives, but they came up with a prospectus, and you do it door-to-door sales. Basically, you get your friends, your family, go in and you show them, your presentation and basically, walk them through how to save money with electricity and ask for referrals from there. I actually ended up getting so good at it that I'd make my appointments around dinner time just so, I'd see if I can get the family, whoever house I was in, and invite me over for a meal. That's how I kind of judged if I did a great job or not. Oh, by the way, Frank, you want to stay for dinner? That was like, man, I'm doing really good at this, And then went to car sales right after that.
So yeah, I mean, they invite you for dinner, man. It's a done deal, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I've sat at thousands and thousands of kitchen tables, man. So
yeah, I only had 2 people the entire time I was doing it tell me no, and because I couldn't get past their rebuttal of the Y2K. Do you remember Y2K was coming on, and they told me to come back after after January to Y2K. So those 2 people, I'm still coming back to your house, Mr. Smith. I'll be back. Gonna get you. Going to save you some money on your electric bill.
So did you, was that like cold calling, or did they give you
No,
leads?
it was the course that the training they gave you was to start with your friends, your family. And it was basically, it was a reverse pyramid. You just start with your friends and family, and you just kind of ask for referrals for uncles and aunts and friends, and you get into, their neighbors and everything. So you actually have to not only, to keep your business going, you have to actually, be able to, make it make sense to people. So they say yes. And, but you also have to work on referrals. And that's, is one of the ways that I learned how to ask for referrals. It's crazy. If you don't ask for it, you don't get it a lot of times.
Right. That's the truth, man. That's how I built my business, is off of referrals.
Yeah.
So you built, and what happened? Like, why didn't you stick with it? Did you say that already?
They actually made me the manager because I did so good of Delaware County, which is the county that I'm in. So
yeah.
I got an office. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm big shit. This is going to be great. I got an office. I got a receptionist, and I'm responsible for training everybody, and it started to work out great. I had a great team, and just really wasn't getting the management support from the home office, and wasn't really making the money that they told me I was going to make. So. My dad said, hey, why don't you look at selling cars? You like cars? I'm like, yeah, car salesman. Dad said they make decent money. I know a couple of car salesmen. So I looked in the paper, because you looked in the help wanted ads back then. And I seen, Piazza. It was Right Honda back then. We still owned it, but it was called Right Honda under the business name, and just looked in the paper and still remember calling and, saying, hey, listen, I'm interested in the job. The guy's like, okay, come on down this afternoon at 2:00. I was like, I was already going to go golfing at 2. So he's like, you know what, buddy? He goes, this job's probably not for you. Don't even bother. I'm like, I'm good. I'll be right down. I'm good. I'll postpone my tea time. So I actually, I went down. And
hold it. Wait, dude, you told him you were going to go golf.
Well, I wasn't expecting to, saying, hey, 20 years old, come on down right now. I already had my collared shirt on. The shorts, it was like 73 degrees. It was a beautiful, March afternoon. I were going golf with my buddy.
Oh, and, my
God. Thank God I said, no, all right, I'll bag the golf for the day, because, not a lot of times would I do that, but it ended up working. So 19 glorious years at Piazza Honda in Springfield. It's been a great journey so far.
Wow, dude. 19 years.
I can't believe I even say that. Like, that comes out of my mouth. 19 years. It's like, wow, I never thought I could do anything. For 19 years. So
that's insane. That's actually pretty cool. So you dude, I can't get over the fact you told him I got a tea time. I can't make it.
Thank God I backed up, right? I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, don't even bother. This isn't for you. I'm like, oh man, these guys are serious over there. All right, let's go.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Let's go in and figure it out. I'll be right up.
That's funny. So you started at Piazza Honda, or what did you say it was called then?
It was Right Honda. The Piazza still owned it. It was just they had a business different name at the time. Now all the stores, we own 25 or 27 stores, luxury brands, everything, and everything is usually Piazza Honda of or Piazza Acura of. So our branding and our name is everywhere in this area, PA, Delaware. And all the surrounding areas. So it really helps out a lot, for my notoriety with behind the Piazza name. Works out great.
That's awesome. I think I told you I worked at the Honda factory right out of high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been invited out there a couple of times. It's just not conducive to, taking 3-4 days off to go check out the factory, in the middle of Ohio. But, nothing wrong with Ohio. But it's not Miami.
It's... Have you been here?
No.
Well, then how can you say that? You don't know.
Because I flew over and I looked down and I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't look like me. I don't know. Dude. We'll see. Maybe I'll stop out in Ohio one day.
Yeah, it's the factory literally sits in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. Right. It's crazy.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I want to take 3 days off in the middle of like July to go to Ohio? I can watch that on YouTube.
I think they have the notoriety of being the largest automotive factory in the world under one roof. I believe
1 million square feet. I think you said.
Yeah, now it's over that.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's massive, dude. It's huge.
Right.
So you work for you're representing a great brand. I know it's Honda really cares about quality, man.
They do. It's they're knocking it out of the park anymore. I mean the quality of the cars is crazy. So 19 years, I've never had so much of a client base referred over to me, or people that have bought previously luxury used cars from me, and they're like, hey, can we look at that new Accord that's out? Looks like a BMW. And in some cases, it's got more equipment in it than a BMW or a Mercedes
Right.
would. So Honda has really stepped their game up. That makes it a little easier for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're great vehicles. So you started in immediately in sales, right? At the
Shaking hands,
dealership.
kissing babies right from the beginning. Yep, absolutely.
And did you like, were you like the top guy there immediately? Did you?
So I started March 22nd of 2000. My first car deal was actually a 2-car deal. So I had the guy, the guy that's been here for 15 years. He was in his 50s, and he's showing me around. And day 2 or day 3, I finally was able to take my first customer, and I sat down and we started talking. And I just asked the lady who was there buying the car, the wife, and I asked the husband what he was driving. He's like, yeah, I got this old car. And I just said to him, I said, well, why don't you get a new one too? And he's like, that's not a bad idea. He goes, can you work some numbers out for me? And I said, yeah. So I went to the desk and we worked 2 numbers out, and they ended up buying 2 cars, 2 Civic VPs, a green one and a blue one. They only made it in 3 colors, green, blue, and silver. So they got a green one and a blue one. And I still remember the guy, George, he was so mad. He's like, that never happens. It's going to ruin you. You're going to think that's the way it's supposed to work every time. Well, why shouldn't it? You never know. So, but he was good,
Dude,
it was,
that's crazy. What now? What? That was your manager said that?
No. That was one of the salespeople. One of the salespeople that was showing me around. No, the manager was, they were a little elated. They're like, yeah, man, you're going to be a shining star. So,
Wow.
just don't be a shooting star. That's what they told me. So I was always in the back of my head. You don't want to just plateau and, hit the come right back down, right? You want to be a shining star, not a shooting star.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Carl Scaramuza, I can't
Carl
say his name.
Scaramuza, he was my best friend, I told you, from when we were like first grade to 4th grade. Something happened with some baseball card issues. We were playing flipsies, and I think I won like a Willie McCovey rookie card or something from him, and he got mad at me. So we're easing back into our relationship now, though.
That's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. We grew up in the same block.
Did you really? That's incredible.
Yeah, same town. He lived right around the corner from me.
Dude, Carl's been on the show. So like, okay, so you came out of the gate strong. That's really strong, like big time.
Yeah. So April of 2000, I sold 18 cars, which was I think tops. It was tops in the dealership that month, and basically all I did was listen. So I had a guy that was there, and he went around and actually he was the top sales guy there, and very generous. Showed me his presentation, demonstration, the walk around the car. He taught me everything I would need to get off to a quick start, rather than, a lot of the stuff that you get pounded with paperwork and, things that I find just kind of make people, kind of stray off from the business or don't have their mindset right from the beginning. So, he walked me through and, actually let me go on test drive with him. Didn't have to, let me sit in the back. He's just don't say anything. I'm like, all right, no problem. I just sat there like I was a mute, and just listened to him. Listen to him talk, and most of the time it wasn't about the car. It was more just, a conversation. And that's kind of started me off in the right direction. Now, obviously, I took, a little bit of pieces from just about everybody that I could. And, him and a couple other guys that were being successful on the floor. And I think one of the best things I did was kind of stay away from the guys and girls that weren't selling as many cars, the water cooler talk all day of, the cool crowd, the 8, 9, 10 car a month crowd. And, if you're in that crowd, not trying to offend you, but you need to step your game up and get yourself out of that crowd, because I'm not here to be cool. I'm here to, support my family and, make sure my clients are being taken care of in the right way. So you don't want to be in that cool clique.
And, one of the things I've noticed about you in our, Carl's calling you out, man. He said, this guy stole my cards.
I still have them in my basement. That's the funny thing. One day I'm going to give it back to him. He's going to be in Miami. Maybe I'll bring some down. But I still have them in this long rectangular baseball card collecting box in my basement. I'm going to dig them out.
Oh my God! I used to collect cards, man. That could get brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
So
it's sell or be sold, right? So at that point, I was a better salesman than he was. I traded him, probably a Willie Stargell or something like that, and I got his Babe Ruth. So, we're good. Juan
Dude,
Samuel for a Pete Rose, I think it was actually.
Carl is killing it, man. I mean, he's
He's awesome, man.
literally killing
And
it.
let me tell you something. Not only is he killing it, but he's doing such a great job with the community. I ran a toy drive. I help run a toy drive every year, Sassy Massy Toy Drive. And he was one of the biggest contributors to it. I mean, the guys, people are bringing, toy here, toy there. He showed up with 4 brand new iPads for them, so
Wow.
$2,000 worth of donations. And so he's giving back to the community too. He's doing it the right way, and I listen to his podcast all the time. He's one of my top follows on Facebook and social media. So, if you don't know who he is, follow him. And I just seen he's hiring. So, anybody out there looking for a top notch job, check him out too. Go on his website. So
Credit Carl. Credit
Carl, man.
Man, he's killing it.
He's
And
the real deal.
That's one of the things that I've noticed in my 50 years on this planet is the most successful people are the biggest givers. Like they literally that's what they live for, is to help other people. And I've seen that with you already. I mean, we don't know each other super well yet, but
No.
I've seen that you're just you're number one. This is just my perception of you. You might I'm known as a really, really positive guy, but you might actually be more positive than I am.
Positivity. That's my favorite word, man. You can't live in the negative, it'll tear you down. It'll tear you up. So, and every once in a while I'll get caught up in it, and you just got to be able to recognize it is the key thing, recognize it and be able to pull yourself out of it and just refocus yourself on being positive and what got you to the levels that you're at and what's going to get you to the levels that you want to be at,
Right.
Is where you really got to look, so there's negativity all around you. You just got to fight it all day. You can't get involved in it.
So throughout your 19 years selling cars there, which is absolutely phenomenal. Your 19 years selling cars, have you had bad months where you were like, man, I'm not...
Don't jinx me. I haven't had a bad month.
Don't jinx
yeah.
me.
So one of my keys is I've been so consistent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I hit every single goal that I set up for myself, but there's a reason for that too. I set goals sometimes that are just out of this world. Try to find a way to get there,
Right.
A lot of the times. But, so I see people set goals like, oh, I'm going to sell 12 cars this month. Great. You sold 11 last month. That's like an 8% increase. I get it, but it's one more sale. Let's figure out a way to really step it up, 15, 20. Let's come up with a plan to actually get there, So I set my goals for myself ridiculously high, but it's on purpose.
Dude, I've got to point out to everybody that you literally put breakthrough walls.
Oh my God, you see that? I spent a whole 32 seconds printing that out for you. Color too. I don't know if you can see it.
I see it, dude. I mean, you could have put my face on there or something, but that's.
Yeah, we have enough of you right here. We're good. It's all good.
I'm just kidding. So that's awesome though, man. But those are the things that separate you, man. And that's so talk about some of the things that you have done because let's be real. You're one of the top 1 or 2
Right.
auto salespeople in the world. In the world. That's crazy, dude. There are millions of car salesmen around this planet and women.
Right. You think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. And I don't think it's crazy that you're saying 1 or 2. Well, that's all fine and good, but I don't read my own press clippings. I come to work every day. It's Rocky 1, right? So, Rocky 1, man, he was just going for it every single day, right? Eye of the tiger. Rocky 3 kind of veered off the path a little bit and, got beat up by Hulk Hogan and a couple things, but it's Rocky 1 all day. You got to have your game face on when you leave the house. So, every morning, I've said this on other shows, but every morning I get showered, I get dressed, and, I go over to my mirror in my bathroom and I high five the mirror every morning. I love being me. I psych myself up 100% before I leave. And sometimes I'll do it 2-3 times because it just wasn't right. Like it wasn't. It was a half love being me. But you have to really have that vibe when you're ready to go, right? So
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to come out and try to close a baseball game and just walk to the mound. Those guys come running out, right? They're ready to go. They're getting themselves fired up. Same thing. I'm getting myself fired up for the game. I come down the steps. I'm high-fiving the kids, Team Frank, Team Natalie, Team Anthony. He's just my little one's just starting to high-five now. So,
Wow.
Kiss the wife and throw some music on that's going to fire me up driving into work. And, that's the mindset. I don't sit around and listen to sports talk radio and I'm going to work and all the negative thing, even though, the Eagles, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Anybody follows me knows that. But
Yeah.
at the same point, that's not what I want to do when I'm focused on the task at hand. You got to put the task at hand, and the task at hand to me is, kicking the doors and get ready to go as soon as you walk in the morning.
Dude, there's a friend of mine, Jim McCord. He's in Kentucky. He wants to buy a car from you. So
Sounds great. I'll ship it out to him, or he can fly in. I'll pick him up at Philadelphia International Airport. Just let me know what his agenda is, and we'll get him in here. It's not a problem. Make it a great experience. World class.
He's asking where you are. It's just outside of Philadelphia. So, dude, and see, that's what I mean. Like, people need to understand this because people get stuck, man. And you've seen it. Like, how many salespeople work in your dealership?
Right now, I think we have close to 20, I believe it is.
How many?
It fluctuates from 16 to 20.
Okay. So you, and I'm assuming you're the top guy there.
That's what they tell me.
You're so humble too, man.
But at the same point, you know what I mean? Like it's, people come in all the time, new guys, new girls, and like, we want to be you. I get it.
Yeah.
To me, you can't compare yourself to other people around you 100% because to me that'll take your eye off the game, right? If you're really worried about what somebody else is doing now, if you're trying to figure out what somebody else is doing to get to the next levels, I get it. But if you're worried about what your competition is doing around you, then to me, my only competition is myself. It's in my mindset. So, not saying that some, young, guy or girl could come by and, beat me one day if I allow my mindset to kind of veer off. So, you gotta keep the peaky blinders on, those things they put on the horses.
Yeah.
Keep your peaky blinders on,
Yeah.
And you stay focused on your goal. But at the same point, you don't want that laser focus. I think we talked about this to, maybe not let you veer off a smidge to, come up with new opportunities for yourself, like YouTube, So Lisa Copeland talked about YouTube today, so I don't want to keep myself laser focused on Facebook social media. I need to be able to keep Facebook, laser focused, but also be able to, put my perspective a little different direction, but still keep my focus on what's been working for me.
There's people asking what brands you sell. I mean, I know you work for Honda.
So I only work for one dealership. A lot of salespeople have the great opportunity to sell multi brands, and I could. The Piazzas would let me go to our Acura store, which is 5 miles away, but it wouldn't be conducive to doing business. So I refer out probably every month 10 to 15 deals a month just to our other stores around, Volkswagen and everything, rather than me going to that store and selling them. I have, salespeople in each store that I know I can trust 100% with my client base. So I don't mind just recommending them to a certain salesperson, to handle that. But a lot of my business is pre-owned cars. I think me and you talked about that last night. So, it's probably 40% of my business. So 60% of my business is new Hondas, which is great. And then we have 1,200 pre-owned cars in my inventory. Now, sitting here, I have 100 to 150 on a given month, but I have 1,200 cars that I can pluck from in our inventory. So it's you need to take advantage of stuff like that. You got to find out what advantages you can have in your marketplace. And my advantage is we're one of the biggest dealer groups in the land out here. So that's helping me dominate my competition.
Wow, man, that's incredible. So let me ask you this, because you said you high five the mirror every morning and you get like, so that's like I've seen, we're both going to Miami. I was just going and now you're going.
They called me out. I'm like, you know what? I got Will Smith in the back of my head going to Miami, Miami. I'm like, man, I
Oh
got to
my
do
God.
this. I got to do this. I can't keep making excuses why I don't do things,
I love
So
it.
I got to listen to some of my own advice some of the time, So, I see a lot of people make excuses. I'm like, man, that's just an excuse why you can't do it. And some people react to it negatively and just, turtle up. And some people actually say, absolutely, let's man up and do this. And that's what we're going to do. So,
Wow.
I'm flying out by myself. I'm just jumping
Yeah.
on a plane. I didn't have a ticket. I didn't have anything. Ken hooked me up with a ticket, a guy that had a ticket for me.
Yeah.
And, I'll find a hotel room or, I'll be sleeping on a park bench this weekend, but I hear it's going to be pretty nice. It's not a big deal. We're going to
It's
make it
gonna,
happen.
yeah.
I clean up good real quick, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll use one of the men's rooms in Miami Stadium.
Right, there you go. Or 7-Eleven. But
Yeah,
so
whatever.
so
It'll work.
so like let me ask you this though, because you're doing that routine, and I've seen
Hmm.
so many people on Grant Cardone's live streams and other people's like, "Hey, what's your morning routine? What gets you going? How do you keep that energy so high?" And that's, dude, that is such an important factor in your existence. Like, people don't realize how important a
Right.
solid positive
If
routine
if
is.
you don't love being you, ready for this? If you don't love being you, people are not going to love being with you, right? So
Right.
if I was a mope all day and just walked around telling people all the problems that I have to overcome every single day just to stay at the levels that we're at and grow past those levels, people would probably listen and they tune me out, and that's not what you want to surround yourself with. So everybody's like, how do you sell so many cars and how do you do this? And
Yeah.
it's more making friends. You got to get, people have to like you. That's the key ingredient here. So, if
Yeah.
people don't like you, they're usually not going to buy from you. They're usually not going to refer you business. But getting that mindset right to stay positive with everybody, people at this point, it's almost a problem solving, thing for me. I joke sometimes. I call myself the Dr. Phil of the car dealership because
Yeah.
everybody comes in and just tells me their problems and I tell them it's going to be okay. And,
Right.
we walk it through, So at this stage of the game, I mean, I've sold between 12, 13,000 cars. There's not too many situations that I can think of that I haven't seen. Now, there's always something that pops up. I'm not saying I know everything about everything. I certainly don't. And I love learning every single day, but there's not too many situations that I can't handle myself or, have a plan for already because I've already seen it a bunch of times. So no matter what it is, we'll figure out a way and make it happen for you.
Dude, that's incredible. So did you, because some people might just say, well, he was just blessed with genetically predisposed,
Good hair. Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
but
All
like
that.
you were genetically structured to be this positive guy that can think, man, I need to high five myself in the mirror every morning. Like, what gave you that? What gave you that ability, man? Like, did you learn it somewhere? Did you just start
Well,
like,
I mean, it's the way you grow up. And Carl will tell you where we grew up. I mean, it wasn't a rough neighborhood, but you're either selling or you're getting sold. You're either eating lunch or somebody's taking your lunch from you. So, I decided a long time ago that I wasn't going to be taken advantage of. And that doesn't mean I'm taking advantage of people, but I wasn't going to be taken advantage of. So, a lot of people sometimes that act like your friends, they're not really your friends. And to me, where I grew up, until you almost, you know, figure out a way to get past, everybody coming at you all day and, trying to take your lunch, then, your lunch is going to get taken from you. So, to me, I figured out a way to talk my way through things, rather than, avoid things or, go around people. So, my mom sold door to door Avon when we were kids. So she taught me, knocking on doors and delivering and customer service. I worked at a pizza shop after that, for 5 years, and that taught me how to answer phones, how to run a shop, how to handle 200 customers on a Friday night sometimes, that want their food quick,
yeah,
So that taught me a lot of skills. Networking with those people that came in, what do they do for a living? I did telemarketing for 6 months, and then they told me how much I was going to get a raise for after my record-breaking performance of 6 months, and that 50-cent raise an hour just didn't cut it. I actually walked out of the office at that point,
Wow.
and then went into what I told you, the Green Mountain Energy and here at sales. So, and the funny thing is, I don't think I'm a great salesman. Like I'm not sell me this pen type guy. I could, but that's not the way that I operate. My whole business has been, relationships and making sure you're doing the right thing for everybody, putting everybody's needs in front of your own, in front of the dealerships, and making sure that you're doing right by the client at that point. And that's kind of where it's came from.
So I think that there's a lot of, not just in car sales, but every industry. There's this mindset of I'm waiting on. I think in the car business it's called an up. I'm waiting on an up. I'm waiting on the company to give me a lead. What the company's marketing is terrible, and so that's why I can't sell or whatever, right? And you keep saying my business, my business.
Well, I've been blessed enough that the management here in the Piazzas basically let me run a business inside a business. So
right.
I just kind of took that by the horns and just went with it. And years and years ago, this is probably 10 plus years ago, they decided that, internet department wasn't what they wanted me to focus on, and they pulled me off internet leads, and I could have took that as a negative, and I'm pissed, and, they're trying to do me wrong. And
right.
Long story short, I just figured out that, these leads that are coming in and closing at 8 to 12%, really the math didn't make sense to me. We're putting in 100% effort to try to get in 8 to 10% to 12%. And at that point, it was just a race to the bottom, who had the best number. So, I just sat around and brainstormed how I could get my own clients, where I was getting them from. So I came up with a drive for free on me contest, which was great. You might see me with my big check, sometimes. So we do a referral fee in Pennsylvania. You send in a customer, we send you $100. But on top of that, everybody that sent me in a referral that month, we put your name in a drawing, and I'll pay your car payment for free for that month. That really kicked it off for me as far as social media went. But before that, I had to figure out, before even Facebook, and a lot of my friends will tell you, if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have told you I will never get on social media. It's not me. I don't want to do it. Just me being protective and, comfort zones and all that stuff, things we talked about, not being comfortable. But thank God I did, because it's definitely helped my career immensely get to these upper echelon levels. But one of the ways that I got my own referrals is to actually network with people that were trying to network with me. So, in the car business, you have insurance agents coming in all the time. They're trying to, get you to send them customers. Hey, we'll send you lottery tickets. You send me a customer, we'll buy you lunch, $25, whatever it is. And I would always just say to these guys, listen, I only do business with people I trust and can do business with. So for me to refer somebody over to you, I need to know that, we have the same motives, with the customer. And I'll do that, and I don't want anything in return. But at the same point, if you feel comfortable doing business with me, I need that same referral to come back to me. So I had a couple insurance agents who, really wanted my business because they seen I was selling, 30, 40 cars at the time. So people would call for insurance quotes, and they would say, hey, we got a guy over at Piazza Honda, why don't you give him a call? So I would get 3-4 leads, a month from there. And then I started branching out to, I'm thinking, okay, well, where do people go that need to talk to cars? So I started to go around and actually all these shops that we would use, outside of our dealership, our transmission shop, body shops that bought parts from us. I had my parts guy, my wholesale parts guy who I was friends with, introduced me to some of these, not necessarily owners of these businesses, because they're not always the people that are talking to the people every single day,
right.
But the receptionist, the bodywork guys that people trust. So I would actually go out there, shake their hands. A lot of people, already had the introduction from my parts guy, so it wasn't like, hey, who's this guy,
Right.
coming in. So I just used the relationships that I had, to help me get to, the levels that I'm at, and to get my own referrals basically, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
So you literally went out and met these people that are not the owners. They're not these are the guys that are actually boots on the ground.
Right. Well, they're the guys that are shaking hands with all
Yeah.
these people, right? And they're the, so, if you have a mechanic, a lot of times, that he's running a big shop, the owner, he's not always hands on with every client, but, I go into a restaurant, I ask for a specific waiter, when I go to a restaurant, because I had a great service with them. We have a
Yeah.
relationship. I don't necessarily ask for the guy that owns the restaurant. He might come over and say hi to me or touch my table sometimes, but,
Yeah.
my experience is with, is actually with the, with the waiter or the waitress of that restaurant. So, to me that worked out well. And then when I was younger, I was out all the time. So I used that to my advantage too. Bartenders, people I would see out in clubs who are these social butterflies with these networks, before there was even Facebook, and stuff
Yeah.
like that just knew everybody. I made sure that everybody knew what I did by asking them what they did, so it wouldn't just be, hey, I'm a car salesman, send me business. It doesn't work that way. You got to actually kind of ease into it and, explain to them, show the value in what you're trying to provide, and, see if you can help them out in their business too. Is actually how it worked,
And I think it's important for me. I want to point out that, I mean, I don't know what your average is, but I know you sell 100 or more a month cars, right?
Yeah. Some months it'll be 90, some months it'll be 110. One month it was 137. Like it's going to vary, it's not, you're going to have seasonal and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But, and then depending on all the other stuff that I have going on in life,
Yeah.
right now we're going to see where everything ends up, but I have some really specific goals that I'm trying to get through my plateaus. So,
Yeah.
people roll their eyes and say, this guy had some possible, but it's only impossible if you don't believe it. So
That's
you
right.
really have to believe it. You got to ingrain it in your head, but you can't just sit around and, have this make believe that I'm this, person. You got to have a plan to actually do it and then be able to execute it, so you can't just have good intentions, right? You gotta be able to execute things.
You got to.
I think that's a sign hanging up in one of my offices that I've seen somewhere. Or something like that.
Yeah. But it's true, man. So what do you think from in your opinion? And again, dude, I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy.
No, I'm not busy. It's all good.
Yeah, but like, what do you think that? What do you
But
think?
this is
that,
important stuff, right? This is giving back. This is me telling
Yeah.
how I got to where it is. So, this is me being busy. You have to work
Right.
yourself busy sometimes. So, I see people and they're posting on Facebook, oh, I'm in this rut or it's really slow.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing to not be slow yourself, right?
Right.
So to me, if I'm not busy in front of customers, I have to keep myself busy. So sometimes you have to work yourself busy. So I'll go through every customer I sold in the last, 3 weeks, a month. I'll send them a text message to follow up. Hey, Frank, just want to make sure that everything's going great with the car. Great. Yeah, Frank, everything's good. By the way, do you mind, doing this survey for me? I'll send them a link. I have a survey. It really helps me out. I appreciate it. If you don't mind clicking on, just write me a brief description of your experience at the dealership and with me. Boom. So you start doing stuff like that. You send 20, 30, 100 text messages out, emails, go through all your forms of communication. One of the things that's really helped me is getting focused, is getting organized.
Yeah.
It's I go through all the forms of my communication probably every other day. I'll either wake up early or I'll set time aside, lock myself in an office, and I'll go through every single point of contact: Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Skype now, email, phone calls, text message. I'll go through to make sure I got back to every single person. You'd be surprised. You forget a lot of things if you don't go through them.
Yeah.
Or you don't write them down on your trusty, yellow notepad here. So you have to work yourself busy, basically. You can't just wait for customers and referrals. You got to go out and ask for it. And if you're not busy with customers, you got to keep yourself busy. So this way you're in the right mindset when you do get busy. Because the worst thing to happen is you get busy and then your feet are scrambling. Can't get going because you're not busy already. So I always like to try to keep myself busy all day.
So what do you think keeps people stuck, though? I mean, the average car salesperson does what, 10 or 15 a
10,
month?
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
So I'm what Grant Cardone talks about. Somebody said, they're like, dude,
yeah.
you are the 10Xer. You're
Right.
10 timesing everybody, you know?
Right.
And,
But what keeps people stuck there, man? Not just in car sales, in anything in life.
Right. So a lot of the thing that separates me from everybody, I believe, is first of all mindset. You know, so you have to dig deep to figure out, you know, why you're not in the right mindset every day. Is it something that's going on at home? Is it something that happened to you? Is there something you can change to make that click so that you're going to do great things every day, right?
Yep.
So to me, it's like it's you know, I keep telling myself every day I'm in the shower. And you know, don't visualize this, but I'm in the shower every day, right? And I'm telling myself that, you know, I'm going to eat good, I'm going to start working out, and by, you know, 12 o'clock, it's my buddy Frank Crinite. He's texted me a little while ago. Hey man, I'm going to Philly. Do you want a cheesesteak? Hey, we're going to order from, you know, Pagano's down the street. You know, do you want a sandwich? So you have to be, and I'll lose my mindset on that, you know. So, you know, to me, I'm right now trying to build my mindset that I'm going to get in better shape. I'm going to do it, and I have to come up with a plan. So I wrote a plan down for myself, and I'm going to execute it 100%. But it's the same thing in car sales. So, you know, you have to have your mindset right 100%, and it can't just be till 12 o'clock till somebody comes in and says, you know, something that throws you off your game. You have to be able to bounce back off of that and get right back and stay laser focused on what your goals actually are, not just at the end of the month where, oh, it's busy, you know, we got to get busy. It's the end of the month. Get cars in here. Guess what? We own the car for the same amount of money as I do February 1st, as I do February 28th, as I do at 11 a.m. or 11:30 ish when we started this broadcast. So, you know, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's I think that's so key, man. You're 100% all the time, not just at the end of the month.
Right. Well, you got to rate yourself all day too. So one of the things that I figured out how to do it is ask yourself, where are you at right now? So it doesn't mean you always got to be at a 10, because you can't run at 10 all day. If you run at 10 all day, you're going to crash. You're going to crash hard into a wall, right? But you can't be down at a 5 ever. You know, you definitely can't be below 5. So all day, if I'm stuck, I'm asking myself, all right, where am I? You know, where am I mentally? Am I at a 6? Am I at a 7? All right, great. So how do I get myself back to an 8 or a 9? So sometimes I'll grab a car and I'll just go sit in it for a couple minutes, or I'll go take a drive. I'll throw some music on just to kind of reset my day, reset my mindset, and then come back in here and boom, just start it back over. You know, just kind of clear all the negativity and all the bad stuff out of your head, so you can refocus and get back to what you're supposed to be doing. Not what that little guy in your head's telling you that he thinks you should be doing. Got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Go on.
Hey, Mike Johnston says, saw him at 99% once.
He sits two over from me. And Mike's a great example. He sits down 2 cubicles from me, and he positioned himself there strategically. You know, he's a newer guy, and he's starting to grow his business. He's doing, you know, some social media, and you know, he steals a lot of things from me, and he asks me questions. It's crazy how many people are in the car business or have come and gone, and you know, they watch what I'm doing, but nobody actually says, "Hey, Frank, you know, can you help me, or what would you do in this situation?" And I'm not a scary person. I try to help everybody. There's never a time that I wouldn't take time out and say, you know, hey, I think you should be doing it this way or not, you know. So, but he's one of the ones that's growing here in the dealership and has a bright future in the car business.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, Mike. So like you help, you give back, you help others. I mean, somebody helped you. You told the whole story about it. Somebody took you under their wing.
That's what it's all about, man.
Right.
You have to give back with no expectations, though. That's the thing. So, you know, people reach out to me all the time. They're like, well, what groups are you in? Like, what charities are you doing? And I'm like, listen, you got to find what fuels your passion. You know, I can't tell you what fuels you. Can't just jump on my passions. That's not the way that this works. You know, right. So, and you got to expect not to get anything out of it for a while. This is a long-term goal, right? So
Yep.
it's not a get rich quick scheme. There's
Right.
plenty of those out there if you want them. I'm sure you can go on and Google get rich quick scheme, and a billion of them will come up, and
Yep.
probably none of them will work. So
Right.
it's got to be a long-term commitment for yourself.
Right.
To stay the course.
Right.
And to find what works for you. So what worked for me may not be, the way that it's going to work for you. And right now with social media, it's so much easier to get in front of so many people. When I started to hit the levels I was at, I wasn't really on or into social media as much. So to me, I go on somebody's Facebook page when they friend request me, right? So I'll click it on and I'll see, man, this guy's got 4,000 friends, 22 years old. And I click on it and it doesn't even say what he does.
Right.
I'm like, bro, you don't even say that you work at a car dealership. Like, you might post a funny meme every once in a while from, a car thing or what. It's like, how do you expect to grow that? You got 4,000 people that supposedly and hopefully they're people that are in your area and not just people that are, out and about and you just try to friend everybody in the world. But,
Yeah.
to me, I like to keep my circle of 5,000 pretty close.
Yeah.
I think I'm only at like 3,500 friends right now on Facebook because I protect that. That's for my clients. It's for my family. That's for my friends, my clients that end up becoming my friends. It's funny. I won't see somebody for 4 or 5 years. Actually, Saturday, I had a customer who I sold a car to 15 years ago, a Honda Pilot, Lisa, and she's seen, Terry, and she's seen on Facebook that I was in this mainline parenting site, and everybody was commenting that she asked where to go get her car, and everybody was tagging Frank Crinite. She's like, I got a car from him 15 years ago.
Oh
He's still in the business. I'm going to go because we were at our other dealership. So she reached out to me, and it was great. It was like we never even missed a beat,
Wow.
She's like, on your Facebook page, your son and, your daughter, and that's what we talked about probably 80% of the time. It had nothing to do with, the transaction part of it. So that's where Facebook can break down walls for you.
Yeah.
That you don't have to overcome, right? It'll already give you that trust factor with people if you're doing it in the right way. So if you're living it the right way and doing it the right way, it'll help you out immensely, shorten up the process. Everybody's like, how do you process everything, so quickly at the dealership? Well, when you have the trust already built in with everybody, it helps out immensely, break down that process.
It does, man. It's helped me tremendously. And I know it has you. So what if let's say, and I don't want to go much longer. I know you got stuff to do. But I ask this question of every guest, and that is, if somebody were to call you up and say, man, things are bad. My electric's getting shut off tomorrow. My car got repoed last week. I can't feed my kids. Things are bad and I can't figure it out, man. I'm stuck. Can you help me? And I'm not talking about writing them a check or giving them money, although that's always an option.
Give a man a fish, he'll
Right.
eat for a day.
Right.
Show him how to fish, he'll eat forever, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what it is. Would I help you feed your kids? Absolutely. But at the same point, that's I won't be able to be your crutch forever. So you need to find a way to make it resonate with that person if they're really reaching out to you, in a sincere fashion.
Yeah.
How to help them, how to set them up for success.
Yep.
Success is to come. So we actually just formed a charity. That we just formed a 504c that somehow I ended up being the secretary of. I don't know how that was. So I have to actually record everything and do everything that a secretary would do for a legitimate business. But we just started our own charity, Delco Cares charity, basically just here, so we don't just have to give back during Christmas time, right? So we can have it kind of like a Make-A-Wish Foundation, or hey, we'll present to our board that this person is going through, kid has cancer and we want to try to help, or this person's going through a rough time, this person is a government worker and doesn't have any income right now and they have 4 kids.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to allocate our what we've grown from being entrepreneurs in the community, and be able to give back all year. And to me, that's really what it's all about. So Facebook's going to see me in everybody's face, and I'm going to be asking for everybody to come out and help support the community that supports us. So, if you're somebody that always says, hey, I'd like to know how I can help. Well, there's going to be a way that you're going to be able to help. You're going to be able to, jump on board with our charity. John Port, Mike Mahalan, myself, and a couple other guys. I think we have 9 or 10 people in it right now, and it's going to be a give back all year. We're going to do some fun stuff though. We're going to have golf outings and some tournaments and stuff like that to keep it fun with the community. Not just write us a check type thing. So it's going to be fun stuff. And that's really what we got to do in my eyes. You got to keep everything fun and entertaining for everybody. If not, even I'll get tuned out after a while.
Well, and that again goes back to the point I was making is giving, man. You're giving, and that's where the most successful people I know are givers. They just are. So but back to my question, what would you say to that person individually that called you and said, it's all falling apart, man. I don't know what to do. You and I know it starts right there, but sometimes that's tough. I've been in a mindset in the past where it's like, I can't figure it out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. What do you say to that person, man?
So we have to figure out what the underlying issue is that got you to this breaking point, right?
Right.
So to some people it could be, it could be a family problem. It could be an addiction problem. It could be, it could be just, hey, my mindset's not right. It doesn't have to be all, super serious. It could be something, something silly, something stupid.
Yeah.
Somebody said something to you that took your confidence away. Somebody that you admired or thought was one of your mentors, and they said something to you and it just it broke you down mentally.
Yeah. So
you got to be able to go in and find out where it actually originated from.
Yep.
If not, even if you snap out of it now, there's going to be, if you can't figure out a way that you conquer that and get past that where it doesn't bother you anymore, then you're never going to be able to just relieve yourself from that 100%. So to me, you got to drill it down and find out what really got you in that situation in the first place so that history doesn't repeat itself. And then from there, find a way to grow and get yourself better or get yourself in a better position to, help yourself first before you can even help your own family. You got to be able to help yourself. It's happened in my own family. People have some issues and problems, and I do everything I possibly can to help out as many people as I possibly can. So everybody says, "Oh, you're so busy. I'm not. I can still find time in the day, to do this show. I can find time in the day to wake up early and do something if I have to. I can find time in the day to stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and still get up at 6 a.m. and do something. So there's always time. If you tell yourself there's no time, you're just making an excuse again. So you got to overcome that excuse.
I love it, dude. You are absolutely, dude. You're a freaking rock star, man.
You're like my hype man. I love you. I can't wait to hang out with you in Miami. I'm gonna bring you one of those horns.
Dude, I'm gonna carry you on my shoulders.
It's gonna be great, man. Hey, any fans of mine, I'm a fan of. So I'm a Ken Wallace fan, 100%.
Oh, dude.
It's awesome.
No, you're like, man, it's just like, look, not many people accomplish what you do, what you've done, what you're doing, man. And I mean, it's 1/1000% maybe. So it's something to be proud of. I think that it's incredible. And I'm honored that you were on my show, man. I really genuinely mean that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm honored you asked me. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to let you go sell. How many cars are you going to sell today?
It's a great question. As soon as we're done, I got my action plan. It says needs action right up top there. So
dude,
that's my header for the day and my reminder, needs action. So we're going to go through here. I got like 4 or 5 people picking up cars today. And now that I won't be here the last day of the month because I'll be on a jet plane flying to Miami, I'm going to need everything to happen pretty quick here. And I'm taking off, you gotta believe this. So I have not missed a Saturday at my dealership in, oh my God, I think it's probably been at least a dozen years possibly that I haven't missed a Saturday. So let me tell you how important that I think that this actually is.
Wow.
And it's funny because, I've never really listened to, sales trainers before. You're throwing all these books out at me the other day and all all
like,
these sales
no.
trainers, and you're probably like, dude, who is this guy? Like, get out of your shell. You don't know these people. The only sales training I actually had, it's going to be crazy, is back in the day, one of the managers handed me the Grant Cardone CDs back then, and it was just like, going through everything. So, and I would listen to those 12 CDs religiously. Every time I got in the car, anytime I was in front of the computer, I would just put them in and just listen to them and listen to, how he would, how he would talk to customers or how he would solve problems, with just simple stuff. It wasn't complicated, and it just resonated with me. And that was probably the only sales training that I ever had. So, fast forward now, umpteen years, this is the first conference I'm ever going to.
Wow.
Big conference like this, and the first sales trainers that I'm actually going to ever, 100% listen to. So I'm excited for it. And that's why, I put it at the top of my to-do list, and took it off my excuses list, because that could become a big list for yourself. So just sit around and write down your excuses that you make all day. Every time somebody asks you something, just write down the excuse. And at the end of the day, just go look at it and be like, man, that's freaking pathetic. Can't believe I just made that excuse, right?
I
So
know,
I said the
dude.
Same thing, man. I just book a flight and figure it out from there, right?
Dude,
as long as my feet are in Miami, I'm good.
You texted me and you said, guess who's going to Miami or something. I'm like, no way, man. That was awesome, man. And hey, by the way, my wife booked my trip, and the only room she could find has 2 double beds or whatever, dude. So you don't have to sleep on a park bench. We'll put up a curtain or something. I'm kidding,
Nice,
dude.
brother. We like trains, planes, and automobiles. It'll be fun.
Those aren't pillows.
Jesus.
I love that movie, dude. All right, well, listen, thank you to everybody. Dude,
right.
A lot of people have shared this out. So,
No
number
problem.
one,
Everybody get your mindset right. Number one, you can't achieve till you believe. I know it's not my saying, but it's what resonates in my head. You cannot achieve till you believe 100%, and it can't be a BS belief, and you just hype yourself up for 15 minutes. Get yourself focused.
That's right.
100% on your goal, and don't let anybody knock you off your game. And that's my going away. That's my going away clip right there.
How can everybody follow you, man? What's your website address?
You're funny. You're the funny guy. No, you're the funny guy. I like that. That was good.
So that's called social pressure.
Well, Who's Next University is coming pretty soon, so I'm gonna have a lot of sales training tips and
that's awesome.
Tidbits on there, and try to help out as many people as I possibly can. And I got to find somebody who knows something about websites and push websites and stuff like that. That's going to help me. And maybe some guy that could figure out Skype this morning might be able to help me with that. I don't know. We'll look around. But I did just get this really cool new tool, this Smooth, that I'm trying to figure out.
I know
how to just gyroscope. So I'll get this thing figured out pretty soon.
I've got it, dude.
I almost hurt myself with it. I took the phone off and it started going around. Almost hit me in the face like a Three Stooges episode. I wish somebody was taping it. It would have been epic. It was funny. So, I'll figure this out soon enough here. How to work this actual Smooth thing here to get my videos a little bit better.
Bring it to Miami. I'll show you. So,
I'll be in the backpack.
Yeah, man. So listen, how can everybody follow you? What's the best place? Facebook?
Follow me on Facebook. Friend request. I'm not going to accept everybody's friend request just because what I said, so don't take it personally. But if I click on your profile and you're not doing anything that's new and innovative and exciting that I want to see every day, I'm probably not going to follow you, but you're more than happy to click follow me on Facebook, rather than me just, following me, and you'll be able to see all my stuff right on there. But I'm sure we'll have a website pretty soon, and we'll be able to do another live, and we can announce a website that somebody I know might. We
just got to find somebody to help you build that, man.
Yeah, I don't know, somebody that might be accomplished and worked with a couple people in business before that did a good job. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh. Dude, thank you, man. I really appreciate you coming on. You are a true rock star. I'm blessed to call you a friend, man. You're a good dude. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Miami, and I don't want to make this a 10X promotion, but get to Miami, y'all.
Hey, man, I'm okay with it. Like I am Like my mind is tingling right now. I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to talk to Cardone's people. I can't wait to see what's going on there. I can't wait to network and meet new people. And that's the only way you're going to grow your circles, not just sitting on Facebook or sitting on your computer typing away. I mean,
Amen,
it's great and all,
dude.
but you can't do everything virtually. You have to live in the real world. So this has to transpond into the real world, right? So we're sitting here like Max Headroom was, back in the day, and sitting here on these little screens, and this is great and all, but until I actually, shake your hand and meet you, and you really get to look into me and I look into you and figure out who we actually are as people. How do we know if we're really going to be friends? How do we know how we can help each other? How do we know how we can grow together? So, that's really where it's going to come from. And so I've had so many people reach out to me that are going this week in Miami, and I'm like, they want to meet me. I'm like, holy crap, they want to meet me. I want to meet them. Like, I can't wait to, talk to these people, and they're excited to meet me. So, hopefully I can bring the fire too. I got big expectations here. I got to try to live up to after all my hype men, are behind me here. So see how it works out.
Dude, you do 100 cars a month. That's not hype. That's real.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Can't
did
be all
15.
hype, man. You got to be able to do it.
You said you're going to get your averages up to 25 a day or something, I think.
I think you said that. I'm not falling for your traps anymore. You'll run me ragged.
Love it, dude. You're awesome, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody go follow him. If you think that you meet his criteria to be his friend, take a chance, man. Take a chance. You never know.
Hopefully you got your game stepped up.
That's it. All right, hey, don't hang up on Skype yet. Everybody, thank you so much to everybody who shared this out, watched this, commented, liked it, loved it. Even some crying laugh faces, dude. That was awesome.
I'll get back to everybody's questions a little bit later. So if anybody's on there, I will answer you 100%. It might just not be right away, but I'll get back to you ASAP.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Who's next?
See you guys. Who's next?